Let's go! Diego. Huh? 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 That's what Stucky normally says on that Action Network podcast, man. This dude is absolutely insane. So we get unblocked A gap pressure right here. And this is what a Heisman Trophy winner does, right? Unblocked A gap pressure, pivot route that's already being jumped by the safety here. The ball has to be perfect. If it's not perfect, it's getting picked off and we're going the other way. And boom, on 3rd and 3, we're already at Tootsie's, baby, for a first down celebration. Good ball handling by Diego, bring everyone in tight. And the funny thing is, they were ready for this jet sweep handoff. It's just you get really good blocks here to the outside. Good job by Eli Stowers, arguably the best tight end in the SEC. And you're able to pick up the first down and then some, right? Two, who's had an up and down season for the Vols. All you got to do is make one guy miss, and you're really turning this into something, and boom. And then we get into here. You can see Tennessee is in a what looks to be a cover 4 over here and cover 2 to this side. Okay. You have a tight end running up the sideline, and then you have a running back releasing right here. This is just covered. I don't think Pavia should throw this, but he's Diego Pavia. He says, look, I want to get away with it, Carter Bryant. You don't know anything about football. And, well, it's one of the most poorly thrown interceptions you've seen Diego ever make. And now you're in trouble, right? 15's just got to make one guy miss, and you're working with something. And he's able to, but that was a good chase down tackle right there. Look at this. And then the ball is loose. Okay. Obviously, that's a comeback because it was a fumble forward. So there you go. And then you have a little clip. I just don't think this Vanderbilt offensive line is that good. And that's part of why I do think Pavia deserves this award. If you're going to give it to a QB, I think you would need to give it to him, right? So you could see that they're able to get home with 4 versus 5, and there is a lot of A gap pressure here. And Pavia is able to spin out. Remember, these are all deeper patterns, okay? So he spins out, he's able to extend this play, and now Pavia is able to keep his eyes down the field. And, well, he finds his running back at the very last second. What a nice little flick of the wrist, and you're able to pick up a really huge gain. So that play right there is 99.9% Diego Pavia making stuff happen. Look at that. And then you get to hear this is also Pavia, because if you're so concerned about the QB run game and him breaking contain, you have these edge guys that are just coming upfield, going straight to Pavia, and they run themselves out of the fit. Okay, so you get a 2-for-1 here from this receiver. He blocks down on the next available guy. If you're in man coverage, you got to walk down with him as well. And now Alexander, who's been an explosive RB all year, is able to turn the corner. Okay, you can make a strong case that Tennessee might be a playoff team if Jerron McCoy actually played this year, because corner has been a weakness for them in their losses. And then you get to here. One thing I really liked about Tennessee is how much confidence that they had in their defense. They were so aggressive. If you want to see my Vanderbilt defensive breakdown, it'll be linked down below. Okay, you get the football out here to Sherrill, and once again, Tennessee's corner play has been an issue. 8 is nowhere close to him at all. Okay, and now Sherrill is in a foot race here. Really, really, really big play for I almost said the Vols. And then we get to the very next play. This is honestly pretty impressive. So you get an explosive play, and there's already 5 seconds burned off the clock. And to have an operation that's able to get in a completely different 5 wide formation and then basically run a play in the next 12 seconds, it's really good stuff because the defense isn't really aligned here. Okay, you can see they're kind of unsure of themselves. Just run a play. Okay, so Pavia has the option. Does he want to run or does he want to actually throw? He decides to throw this football. God, it's just really sexy offense right there. And now you get your best overall offensive player, arguably, Stowers of football into space. And he's able to make one guy miss and almost made another for a touchdown. Ridiculous stuff. All right, so we get another Pavia INT. This wasn't the worst read in the world, right? Yeah, press man on the outside. Let's take a deep shot down the sideline. It's just covered, right? So Pavia doesn't have, that Jeremiah Smith, if you will, It does look like he has a step, but the corner was just in phase the entire time, and it's an easy iron. Oof. This was a tough game for this Tennessee pass rush. The one thing you simply cannot do when you're playing a quarterback like Pavia, who's not only a runner, but he's kind of a creative runner, like a Jackson Dart, if you will. Reed of Texas A&M is also really good at just making rush lanes happen. All right. So if you're 27 in this spot, you are never chasing Pavia down from behind. Okay. He's too good at not just getting too far deep and then just feeling out that he could step up into this space. So by you coming all the way around, you leave this wide open pocket of space. 42 has also been really good. He runs past Pavia as well. And there's nothing really you could really do as a defense if you're playing man coverage on the other side of it, right? So now you're in a lot of trouble, a lot with Pavia running with this much open space. Okay, really good stuff. And obviously, if you're Pavia, you want to fall down by now and not take that hit, but he's able to fall forward. Or this has to be one of the cleanest hurdles I can remember. Okay, now is this a hold to this side right here by 72, yeah, you are bear hugging him from behind, but you know, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. But God, dude, this is just freaking dunkulous right here. Boom. What a play from Alexander. All right, first down. Part of Pavia's excellence is in the red zone. He's such a good runner. You want to bring an extra hat and just give you a 2-on-2 over here? Guess what? Pavia's going to pull it and take advantage of it. This DB is at a leverage disadvantage, and you just got to throw it into this, space over here. Just throw the football essentially to the pylon, and that's exactly what Pavia does. Boom. Really good throw. Really good stuff. You don't want to throw it at the pylon because it could get undercut. That's where you want to put it. Boom. Nice. Tennessee safety depth is just so deep here. Pavia pulls it, and even though the safety is essentially capping the top of this route, there's still enough room for Pavia to get the RPO stuff going. Okay? Now, how far was this offensive lineman downfield? 1, 2, 3. When the ball is being released, this probably should be a penalty. Okay? But it's not called. Okay? They rarely do call that. So there you go. Tennessee fans, get the tinfoil hats on. There's a lot more value in Vanderbilt winning than Tennessee. So this is what I was talking about earlier with Pavia being able to create rushing lanes by himself. Okay? So there's nothing really happening here. So he stops instead of just running into this and then just eventually lets one open up. Okay? And he's able to pick up the first down. Now, we can get into jumping up into the air like this, okay? Ask Jaden Daniels about that when you're doing that in the middle of a pile. That can always be a little risky, but man, what a freaking run. So this Vanderbilt defense started getting some stops after a rough start to this game, and guess what? Fake the throw into the flat. You have a blitzer flying off the edge, and then you have this safety needing to fill in right there. And now you can just run it to the opposite side. Once again, if you're playing Diego Pavia, there's not a lot of value in rushing past him. That's what he wants you to do. Okay, I don't want my rushers getting this far up the field. Okay, I want him throwing from the pocket in order to beat me. If you do that, you got to be able to cross face quick enough to get back into it, and 17's not able to do it. 53 has no problem with you running behind him. He knows Pavia is going to be able to outrun him in this situation. Once again, is this a hold right here? I don't know. It's not called. That one, I don't know. I'm going to let you guys come to your own conclusions there. But Pavia is able to run into all this open green grass. Man, I didn't think watching this I would see as many of these kind of calls. Grand Nashville big market SEC conspiracy. All right, once again, if you're going up against Diego Pavia, okay, I understand wanting to get rush. I get it, okay? The problem with that, though, is Tennessee had too many of these rushes where it's basically just a wave of four guys, right? So you would think, looking at this, that this is a pretty creative way to rush this. So you have him backing out, and then the simulated pressure has the linebacker blitzing right here. But you could see that this line eventually gets flat. So this DT gets pancaked on this 3rd and 6. It's a lighter package, it looks like. And once again, 27 is trying to get upfield when in actuality, I would want this rush to be a little bit different, right? I want to at least have one QB spy central here. And now this essentially becomes a flat 4-man rush, and there's no one here to pick up the scraps. So right here, if you're this end, we need you to be able to cross face as quickly as we possibly can, and he's not able to do it. Okay, he's not able to really get there and get close to Pavia at all. You just cannot let him do that on 3rd and 6. We want him to throw the football. I think Tennessee did do a good job guarding are these tight end leaks and delays. Okay, so it's a fake handoff here, and what you're trying to do is get this vertical gone, this running back gone, and then this tight end slowly comes across and then goes upfield. All right, 16, who's had a solid season, probably waits a little too long before releasing upfield. And now Pavia is looking for 16. At the last second, he throws it backwards to an offensive lineman who's standing right there. That easily could have been picked right here. God, you get lucky that it wasn't. And man, also if you throw this and the offensive lineman's the first to touch this on a lateral, it's also a penalty. So you get a little unlucky if you're Tennessee there. But what a nasty play. 3rd and 6, and this time Pavia beats you from the pocket. This is actually a good 4-man rush. All right, everybody's in their rush lanes. We do not want him running for this. Okay, but Eli Sowers is basically able to sit at the sticks and pick up this first down. Boom. Okay. Get some really bad defense right here from Tennessee to the play side. The play side end cuts to the inside. If he is cutting this hard to the inside behind this DT, you would think that this DT is fanning out or going through here. But instead, you get stacked. You turn all the defensive ends and defensive linemen to the inside, and now you just need a hat on a hat. You need a hat here, hat here, hat here, and guess what? You're finding a way into the end zone. So 22 makes a good block. I don't know why this safety right here. Actually, no, this was Pavia. God, this is very, very, very sexy. So you can see he makes a little head fake as if he's cutting it through here, and then he goes through here. That wrong foot's his safety and allows 53 to be able to seal. And now it's a foot race, one that Pavia is normally going to win. Man, that was very, very, very creative. Should Diego Pavia actually win the Heisman? Well, it is a little interesting that it's been somewhat of a down year for Heisman quarterbacks, right? Like if Cam Ward was playing this season, he's probably winning the Heisman. None of the Heisman favorites ahead of Diego right now have more than 3,000 yards passing. Now, those two will play in the Big Ten championship game, and both of them will make over 3,000 yards passing. It's just Pavia also has these 600 yards rushing, which is very, very, very good. It's not like elite, but it's pretty daggum good for a quarterback, if we're being fair. I do think he's had a better season than the other two. With an SEC schedule, I think his offensive line's not as good as those guys. I think his weapons aren't as good as those guys. You could make a case that Alexander's a better running back than what they have, but man, what a freaking season from number 2. And you guys let me know what you think down below, okay? It's Power Hour SEC. Boom! Tonight we are doing chicken.